Hey guys, thought I would just make this video quick as a sort of warning, not a full warning, as I don't think, I should advise against anything 100%. But if you've been on crypto Twitter the last couple months, you'll notice quite a lot of hype around Ampleforth. Now, I first heard about Ampleforth back when it was an IEO on Bitfinex. And yeah, it was cool. They kind of had this cool new concept, which is refreshing in that they were doing this sort of like elastic supply money. They wanted to just be like a hard money like Bitcoin, but they had a different concept in that, depending on the demand and the supply would contract or expand. And I never touched it. I didn't really like touching any of those IEOs back then in general. But I remember hearing about it and seeing some YouTubers talk about it and yada yada yada. And it kind of went under the radar for a long time. But these last few months, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how it's going to be top 10 and blah, 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 and Bitcoin 2.0. But the problem I have with it is that it's a lot more intricate than most cryptocurrencies. So if I'm investing into Bitcoin, for example, it has a supply that is known into the future, and that I can predict what the supply will be based on the block rewards. Ether, even though technically right now it is a inflationary asset, that inflation has been tapering down for a long time, and eventually it'll actually likely be deflationary with burning, or just in general how low the inflation will be versus people just losing their ether as the supply expands. So you can kind of predict these things. So even if you're some normie sort of person who wants to invest, you can at least, when you buy Bitcoin, just sit on it and whatever. But there are some underlying mechanisms in Ampleforth, AMPL, that are a little more intricate than most other things. So if I put $100 into Ampleforth, right, and I get 100 amples or whatever you might get, I think right now the price is around 70 cents, and it was $4 about a month ago. Normally, if I put $100 into Bitcoin, and the market cap of Bitcoin increased 10%, then I'd have to subtract a very, very small amount based on the inflation from the block rewards. But essentially, my $100, if it went up 10%, would be $110. It's pretty simple to think about. But with Ampleforth, because the supply contracts and it expands depending on demand, if I put $100 in and it contracts, and I lose $5, $5. If I lose 50% of my holdings because of that mechanism, then even though the market cap of the cryptocurrency has gone up 10%, I would only be up to like $55. I know that's kind of a crude example, but it's just it is true in its underlying talking point. So yeah, be really careful about the stuff that you see on crypto Twitter. A lot of these times people have nefarious intent. I don't think Ampleforth's like that. The team is actually pretty reputable, and it's a really cool concept. But I would really recommend staying away from it. If you want to, there's like three classes of traders, right? There are the day traders who almost always get burnt, and they're trading on the sexes, and they subsidize actually DeFi in a large way. You now have the DeFi farmers, which has been a thing you could do for a while with Aave or Compound. There's been a lot more rocketing up in terms of the DeFi market cap lately, but you have the people who try to yield farm, which is you have to kind of trust the protocols, but it's not so as risky as day trading. And then you have the people who are community members or they're holders, and they will just buy Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, Zcash, Monero, etc., and they just sit on it. And maybe they lend out a small amount, but they're not trading every day. And they're the kind of people who usually do the best, just because most traders get burned. But again, those assets you can just buy and sit on, because there's not a whole lot to think about other than just the adoption / use velocity of money with Bitcoins, etc. But Ampleforth has a lot more to it than just buy and sit. And for that reason, I would not recommend you guys get it, or anyone really get it. If you do want to play with it, really, really do your research into the underlying mechanics. Don't just go to crypto Twitter and look up the AMPL hashtag and see all the community members going crazy over it and decide to throw in a crazy amount, because you'll get burnt. You'll be on the Reddit crying about it. You'll become a community member yourself. You'll start talking about the amazing next shift of the paradigm, blah, 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 blah. Don't be that person. For the love of God, please. We don't need any more crypto culties. Yeah. So anyways, guys, have a good one, and be careful. Bye.